The Vietnam War was fought between Communist North Vietnam and South Vietnam from 1954 to 1975. In August of 1964, when the American warship USS Maddox was attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin by North Vietnamese torpedo boats, it prompted the United States Congress to pass the Gulf of Tonkin Resolution, which gave President Lyndon B. Johnson the authority to assist any Southeast Asian country whose government was considered to be jeopardized by communist aggression.
The determination of all Americans to carry out our full commitment to the people and to the government of South Vietnam will be redoubled by this outrage.
The resolution was Johnson's justification for deploying U.S. forces and the beginning of open warfare against North Vietnam. Over the next 11 years, the United States sent over 2.5 million soldiers to fight the spread of communism in Vietnam.
My only friend,
It was one of the bloodiest conflicts in American history, with over 300,000 wounded and almost 60,000 killed.
of everything that stands the end.
One American soldier who fought in Vietnam was a man named Rocky Bleier. With me now is Mr. Bleier himself. Thank you for your time, Mr. Bleier.
Hayden, thank you very much for spending time with me.
Rocky Bleier was born March 5, 1946 in Appleton, Wisconsin. The son of a bar owner, he was a gifted athlete, playing both football and basketball in high school. But football is where Rocky really shined. He was a 3-time All-State running back. After high school, he attended Notre Dame, where he played college football and was a member of the 1966 National Championship team. In 1968, when his college career was over, he was drafted twice, once by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 16th round of the NFL draft and again by the United States Army.
And it was kind of a shock, but you respond to that, to that draft and to the situation. And in 2 days, I was gone. It was like I got my notification like on a Wednesday. Friday morning, I was off to basic training. And so like everybody else who got drafted during that period of time, so I went to basic training, advanced infantry training, got my orders to go to Vietnam, and I got in Vietnam about May of 1969.
In 1969, instead of scoring touchdowns in the NFL, Rocky was sent to Vietnam. Rocky was an infantryman in the 196th Light Infantry Brigade, Americal Division, the same division my grandfather served in the year before. And he never stopped thinking about getting home and playing football for the Steelers. But in the blink of an eye, everything changed.
I got wounded twice in the same day.
When his unit was ambushed, Rocky was caught off guard by an enemy grenade.
And as we were walking out on the open rice paddy, all of a sudden my point man, who was maybe 40 yards in front of me, he saw movement across the berm. Shots broke the stillness. They started to run. He started to chase them. He made a dreadful mistake, pulling everybody out on the middle of that rice paddy, when all of a sudden machine gun starts to level the area. Now, my responsibility, because I had a grenade launcher, was to get firepower onto that position and hopefully quiet them. So I rolled over my side the first time, breached my grenade to get a sighting, and I got hit in the left leg for the first time that day. When I discharged that round, I figured I better get behind some protection, and we got enough firepower on that position where the 4 guys that were pinned down got out of there. So the medic, he and I crawled back to where we had left from, commanding officer, about 40 yards away. The rest of the platoon came crawling in. We lost about 3 or 4 guys out in the field that day. We set up another defensive position. The enemy probed our position close enough when all of a sudden a grenade comes flying through the air. And I can see it out of the corner of my eye. And it's swirling upside down and hits my commanding officer right in the middle of the back. And he's laying prone, but it doesn't go off, and it bounces right towards me. And so in a matter of seconds, I had to jump to get out of the way, and as I did, it blew up. And I ended up standing on top of it, so it blew up to my right foot, knee, and thigh. And again, we were in another firefight until a platoon fought its way down and dragged us out of there, and we finally got to security area. some time later, and the helicopters took us to an aid station, and then to Da Nang, where I got patched up, and then I flew to Tokyo, where I spent 3 weeks in a hospital before I came back to the States, where I spent 9 months in a hospital and went through 3 more operations.
He was awarded the Purple Heart and a Bronze Star for his service to his country. Upon Rocky's return to the United States, he suffered lots of pain and he doubted that he would ever return to his football career.
And this was 1970. It was the training camp of 1970. I just got out of the service in July. And I'd been kind of working out as best I possibly could during that period of time. So I wrote Mr. Rooney, who owns the team at the time, and said, could I have a chance to try to come back and, play? So they were very gracious because they thought that, it's not going to happen. So I went back and I went all through training camp, and let me just tell you, it took its beating. Ultimately, what ended up was that they put me on injured reserve.
But after 2 years of intense training, he was finally able to get back on the Pittsburgh roster, and soon after, the Steelers would go on to win their first Super Bowl, just 5 years after Rocky's injuries in Vietnam.
It was like the football gods finally changed, and that was the beginning of the Steelers and great success and a belief system. And then by 1974, we win our first Super Bowl, and we win 4 Super Bowls in 6 years. And after 11 years of playing, I retired after the 1980 season.
Rocky went on to win 4 Super Bowls with Pittsburgh, and in Super Bowl 13, he became a Steeler legend with the touchdown catch against the Dallas Cowboys, now known simply as The Play.
I caught a pass right before the half to give us a lead, 21-14. And as I like to tell people, a lead we never relinquished as we won that game.
3rd and 1. Bradshaw throws. Oh, my Lord! Touchdown. Number 20, Rocky Bleier. Bleier, a very underrated player on the Steelers, made an amazing catch there in front of D.D. Lewis.
It made the cover of Sports Illustrated, so it forever stands in the history of Sports Illustrated.
Rocky Bleier was a hardworking football player in high school and in college, and the challenges he faced fighting for his country in Vietnam and the hardships of war prepared him to come home as an American hero and become an NFL legend. Rocky Bleier's story is truly one of triumph over tragedy.
And that's all we can ever ask of anybody, is just do and be the best that you can be, no matter what it might be or what you want to accomplish. And don't be afraid to be able to step out there and try something new, different, because that's what life is all about, reaching your full potential in all aspects.
Thank you, Mr. Bleier, for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you. It was a joy. Good luck.
Bradshaw throws. Oh, my Lord! Touchdown. Number 20, Rocky Bleier.